Once upon a time, there was a little girl who always wore a red hooded cloak, so everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother told her to bring some cakes to her grandmother. Before she left, her mother advised,
"Take the straight path. Don't go through the forest, or the wolf will eat you."
On her way, she saw that the forest path had many flowers and butterflies. Ignoring her mother's warning, she happily skipped along that way. After walking for a while, she met a squirrel. The squirrel reminded her,
Little Red Riding Hood, I heard your mother telling you to take the straight path, not the forest path. Why are you going this way?
Little Red Riding Hood didn't answer the squirrel. She just kept walking along the forest path, picking flowers and chasing butterflies. When she reached the edge of the forest, she met a big wolf. The wolf stood before her and asked in a deep voice,
"Hey, little girl, where are you going?"
Hearing the wolf's question, Little Red Riding Hood was very scared, but she bravely replied,
"I'm going to my grandmother's house."
Upon hearing this, the wolf thought to itself, so she has a grandmother too. That means I can eat both of them. Then it asked,
"Where does your grandmother live?"
On the other side of the forest. It's the house with a chimney. You just push the door, and you can go in.
As soon as the wolf got the answer, it ran straight to the grandmother's house. It burst through the door, grabbed the old woman, and swallowed her whole. Then it climbed into bed and covered itself with a blanket, pretending to be the sick grandmother. When Little Red Riding Hood arrived, she saw the wolf lying in bed and thought her grandmother was really sick. She asked,
"Grandma, have you been sick for long?"
The wolf didn't answer but groaned weakly.
"Grandma, my mother sent me to bring you some cakes."
"Oh, thank you, my dear. You are such a good girl. Come closer to me."
Little Red Riding Hood ran to the bedside, but she was surprised and asked,
"Grandma, why are your ears so big today?"
"My ears are big, so I can hear you better," said the wolf.
"And why are your eyes so big today?"
"My eyes are big, so I can see you better."
Still suspicious, Little Red Riding Hood asked,
"Then why is your mouth so big today?"
"My mouth is big, so I can eat you."
Right after saying that, the wolf jumped out of bed and swallowed Little Red Riding Hood in one gulp. The wolf, now full, lay down and snored loudly. Luckily, a hunter passing by heard the noise. He raised his gun to shoot, but then thought, the grandmother might still be alive inside the wolf. I should try to save her first. Instead of shooting, the hunter took out a knife and carefully cut open the wolf's belly. After a few cuts, a bright red hood appeared. A few more cuts, and Little Red Riding Hood jumped out, shouting,
"Oh my! It was so dark inside the wolf's belly."
The grandmother also climbed out, gasping for air. Little Red Riding Hood quickly gathered some big stones and stuffed them into the wolf's stomach. When the wolf woke up and tried to jump up, the heavy stones made it fall over and die. From that day on, Little Red Riding Hood never disobeyed her mother's advice again. Lessons for children. After reading the fairy tale, Little Red Riding Hood. Reading fairy tales written for children may seem simple and ordinary, but they often contain profound life lessons. The story of Little Red Riding Hood is no exception. Though it is built on everyday situations, it conveys meaningful values that parents can use to educate their children, such as being cautious around strangers. The image of the cunning and evil wolf in the fairy tale represents bad people, those who are lazy and want to take advantage of others instead of working hard. The story warns about deceitful individuals who pretend to be kind to gain trust. It teaches children to be wary of strangers and avoid unfamiliar people. Recognizing good role models. While the wolf symbolizes evil, the hunter represents kindness and bravery. Parents can use this character to help children understand that good people always help others, even in dangerous situations. In the story, the hunter rescues Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother, giving them a second chance at life. However, in real life, we may not always be lucky enough to be rescued. Therefore, parents should always remind their children not to fall for the tricks of bad people. Avoiding distractions and following instructions. A valuable lesson from this fairy tale is that children should always listen to their elders and not disobey important advice. Whether going to school or playing outside, they should return home on time and avoid wandering off to prevent danger. Bad people and the lazy face consequences. Fairy tales often emphasize justice. Good people will be rewarded, while evil people will face consequences. The story of Little Red Riding Hood follows this pattern. The wolf, representing laziness and deceit, meets its downfall at the hands of the hunter. This message echo. After reading the story and discussing its lessons, parents can test their child's understanding with some thoughtful questions. 1. What story did you just listen to? 2. Who are the characters in the story? 3. Why do people call the girl Little Red Riding Hood? 4. Where did Little Red Riding Hood's mother ask her to go? 5. What did her mother warn her about? 6. What did Little Red Riding Hood encounter on the way to her grandmother's house? 7. What did the wolf ask the girl? 8. What did the wolf do to the grandmother? 9. Who saved Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother? 10. What questions did Little Red Riding Hood ask the wolf when she thought it was her grandmother? 11. Did Little Red Riding Hood ever disobey her mother again after this story? By asking these questions, parents can assess their child's reading comprehension while reinforcing important life lessons, such as listening to elders and being cautious in unfamiliar situations. Beyond fairy tales, modern and fun stories for kids. In addition to fairy tales, Akay English provides modern, entertaining stories for children. These tips will help parents create meaningful moments reading Little Red Riding Hood with their children before bedtime. For an even more enjoyable experience, parents can like and subscribe to Akay English's YouTube channel, where they can explore a vast collection of interactive storytelling videos from reputable publishers such as Kim Jong Publishing House, Writers Association Publishing House, and Literature Publishing House.